We are getting ready for a night game at Carter-Finley Stadium
come on.
tonight between Florida State and NC State. The Noles have arrived in Raleigh. They are there. They are ready to go. And they have the stone with them in case they do pick up a road dub. We're going to talk about this game and it gets a little spooky in Raleigh next on PM. Welcome back to PM, getting ready for Florida State, NC State. There is CJ Bailey, has 36 career passing touchdowns, fourth most by an NC State player in their first 2 seasons at the program. That trails only, listen to these names, Russell Wilson, Jacoby Brissett, and Phillip Rivers. Guys who had pretty great careers at the NFL level. All right, as for this matchup though, Florida State has had some tough times in Raleigh over the years. 98, the Noles took the number 2 ranked team into Raleigh, but Torrey Holt had 2 touchdowns. The Pack picked off Chris Winkie 6 times.
My gosh.
As State pulled off the upset 24-7 and the uprights came down. In 2010, sorry coach, the 16th ranked Florida State squad had a 14-point halftime lead, but Russell Wilson threw 3 second-half touchdown passes, including the game winner, with 2:40 left to play as NC State prevailed 28-24. And then 2 years later, in 2012, the Wolfpack rallied from 16 down at the half to beat the third-ranked Noles 17-16. Mike Glennon, yes, Eddie, threw 2 fourth-quarter touchdown passes, including the game winner to Brian Underwood with just 16 seconds left. Here's what to watch for, brought to you by Applebee's. NC State has notched 12 wins over Florida State since the Noles joined the ACC back in 1992. The only programs with more wins over Florida State in that time frame, Miami, Clemson, and Florida. All right, as you're looking ahead to this game tonight, 8 o'clock, 2 teams that are eyeing bowl eligibility. What's the key tonight, Eddie?
Stopping Deuce Robinson if you're NC State, right? Over 120 yards in the last 3 games each week. And just, his presence. He's 6'6", 230 pounds, and nobody's been able to stop this guy. So he spoke about staying on top of the receivers, and that's Deuce Robinson. So you got to take him away. If you can do that, then you stand a chance, and you can stop the run. But he's the one guy on that team that scares me.
What scares me when they cloud and play over the top. Now you're going to be short on the run. And I think Florida State, like he said, Florida State's big backs running the football. They're going to hit their big plays, but the key for Florida State, if they get the running game going, is really going to be because then the run with Tommy goes too, because you got the quarterback running. You're going to see Florida State pull out all the stops tonight. These are must-win games. They're going to be doing everything they can possibly do. And if they do, you see them clouding the top to Deuce. You're going to start seeing the running game come to intuition. So it's going to be a tough night, I think, on NC State's defense. But it's going to be the same thing. NC State can score points too, so Florida State's got to get some stops to get the ball back to the offense.
How does NC State respond? I mean, they just got whipped by Miami, right? I mean, that was a bad game. Weren't really able to do anything. CJ Bailey, a bunch of picks, bunch of bad throws, bunch of, pressured early, and maybe making decisions a little quicker than he wants to. What does he do? How does he respond? Or is Florida State just too good? And seeing these guys respond in an interesting way there. I love Tommy Castellanos in this offense. I think it's fun to watch. I think he's very dynamic. Do they take advantage of this porous NC State defense? Will be interesting to see.
NC State's got to run the ball. Like, it was shocking. Hollywood Smothers had -2 yards rushing last week. Yeah. That was hard for me to see. I had to double-check a million times to make sure that it was right. But if they can maintain and create a running game for themselves, then you got a chance. Because then it's not a shootout. Florida State can score a lot of points very quickly. You got to be able to run the football to control the clock.
This will be a fun matchup. Again, bowl eligibility on the line for both of these teams down the stretch of this season. We'll be watching at 8 o'clock.
The last time C.J. Bailey played at home, he walked off a hero, leading NC State to a win against Georgia Tech. We get to see him tonight. All 6'6", 6'7" of him. Ryan, Rebecca.
See what was done there.
I did see that.
Yeah.
Ryan, going to be tough to beat that scene in South Bend, but we're going to try. A look at Tommy Castellanos in Florida State, an offense that's gone over 30 points 7 times this season. Both the Noles and Wolfpack are playing to become bowl eligible. Football on the way in just over 10 minutes. There is a look at Hollywood Smothers and an NC State team looking to clinch bowl eligibility for the 6th consecutive season and 11th time under head coach Dave Doran. They must first get past Florida State. We've got college football coming your way here in just under 10 minutes. Welcome inside our ESPN College Football Studios. Florida State great EJ Manuel, Kevin Connors here with you in what has been a wild season in the ACC. As we all well know, 6 teams still mathematically alive. And as we spin the ACC wheel of destiny, we harken back to earlier this season. Upsets aplenty on Friday nights, as it were. Florida State KO'd in Week 5 in Charlottesville. Miami was picked off on a Friday night by Louisville. Week 10, not great for the ranked boys. The following week, more turmoil with Virginia and Louisville going down. In all, 7 upsets of top 15 teams by unranked teams. No conference has seen that type of mayhem. EJ, how do you put this ACC season into context?
Well, the ACC usually has a lot of chaos in it, especially when you had the Atlantic and the Coastal years ago. But here's the thing. I think the early losses in the season within the the ACC causes some of the narrative issues, right? You think about Clemson when they lost to LSU early in the year. SMU, a top team now, still with a chance to get into the ACC championship game. They lose to Baylor and TCU. Pitt last week, they get embarrassed at home against Notre Dame. So ultimately, these are really good football teams once they play each other. I just think sometimes the narrative gets changed a bit when they lose outside of the conference.
Obviously, we expected Florida State to be one of those teams in the mix. Of course, with the opening week win over Alabama, things have gone in a different direction since then. But again, a bowl opportunity on the line tonight. EJ, CJ Bailey, a guy who has the ability to light it up.
He has all the intangibles you want from a quarterback. Now, he's completing 69% of his passes on the season, an excellent year. But last week, down south against Miami, not a clean day. He had a couple interceptions, 1 pick six, might I add. So a big get-back night for CJ Bailey. Expect him to answer some of the issues he had last weekend.
Top passer in the ACC, according to touchdown throws. His coach, Dave Doran, spoke with our Paul Carcaterra.
Coach, Florida State statistically has one of the best offenses in the country, and they like to take shots. What's critical for your defense tonight?
Pressure on the quarterback starts there. He's a shorter guy, but he can really run. So we got to be smart about how we pressure him and keeping him contained. Obviously, Florida State always has good skill players, so changing up coverages and staying on top of routes.
You have a great defender in Caden Fordham who leads all Power 4 players in tackles. Why has he been so successful this year?
Well, he's tough. Starts right there. Yeah, he's a true linebacker. He sees the game, reacts quickly. He's a solid tackler. They'll have a bunch more tonight. They got some big backs.
Thank you, Coach.
Appreciate it. Go Pack.
All right, Coach Paul, thanks very much. Coach talked about getting pressure on Florida State, and they had better do that because Deuce Robinson is a guy on the outside who can kill you.
Yeah, he's a few yards away from getting 1,000 yards receiving. He's a big receiver, 6'6", 230 pounds. He's one of those guys when Tommy Castellanos gets late in the down, he's trying to push the football to him vertically down the field. That's going to be a big key for NC State's defense. Can you slow down Deuce Robinson?
We're about to find out in Raleigh on a Friday night. College football coming your way with Andre Ware. We send it to Anish Shroff.
Welcome to the Rocket Money Kickoff. From Raleigh, North Carolina and Carter-Finley Stadium, it's a Friday night showdown in the ACC. Both NC State and Florida State bowl eligible with a win tonight. Anish Shroff, Andre Ware, a contrast in size with the two quarterbacks. Tommy Castellanos, 5'11" for Boston College, but he can beat you with the big throws and his feet.
You got 2 playmakers. If you like quarterbacks tonight, this is your game. Castellanos, a dual-threat quarterback, a playmaker, and you got C.J. Bailey on the other side, a guy that can flat out just spin the football. This guy is about 6'7", and can just play the position. He's at home. He's about flawless when he's in this building.
We're going with 6'7", not 6'6".
6'7". I'm going to bump him up. He's 6'7".
And that may jump the shark in about 5 minutes. David versus Goliath in today's Spotlight, brought to you by Rocket Money. C.J. Bailey at home has been a difference maker. Home road splits are crazy.
Yeah, you talk about the difference in almost 10 percentage points of playing at home and then playing on the road. He's flawless in this stadium. And it's Castellanos coming in here. You know he wants to get his team to bowl eligibility, take his team to a bowl game. He's going to do everything in his power to will Florida State to a win tonight.
It's been a rocky season for Florida State. They started 3-0. They had that big win against Alabama, and then kind of hit that skid, losing 4 straight, but they still have a chance here at the end to get to bowl eligibility with a win.
Yeah, when you look at how they started the season, it was magical. They go down and take care of Bama, or have Bama, you know, in that first game, they take care of it. Then they go on a skid after that, much like NC State did in their start to the season. 3-0, they go on a skid, and both teams here tonight at 5-5 looking to knock one or the other off.
2 teams that have had dual personalities throughout the season. With NC State, we've seen it just in the last 2 games.
Yeah, you see the points scored against Georgia Tech and then against Miami last week. They felt or faced an enormous amount of pressure in that game. C.J. Bailey's going to have to be prepared for that because Florida State's going to bring pressure.
A couple of Jekyll and Hyde teams. Who shows up, the doctor or the mister? This has been the Rocket Money Kickoff. ESPN College Football Primetime is presented by Ram Trucks, all a part of the ACC on ESPN. A name we expect to call a lot tonight. Caden Fordham, the middle linebacker for NC State. With more on him, Paul Carcaterra.
You know, Anish, stopping Florida State's dynamic quarterback Thomas Castellanos is a daunting task. The good news for NC State is they have a tackling machine in Caden Fordham who leads all Power 4 players in tackles. It's in his DNA to find the ball. Caden's father, Todd, played at FSU in the NFL for 9 years, and he soaked in the game at a young age. Todd coached Caden and his brothers growing up and always felt there'd be great athletes you would compete against. Separate yourself by film study and knowing where the ball is going before the play. And the toughness was developed in the backyard for the Fordhams. Todd told me the best games his boys ever played in were where they played in the backyard, and Caden was always the hammer, just like he is tonight.
Andre Todd Fordham,
yeah, he can
played
make
at
plays.
Florida State, by the way.
Getting a chance to kind of walk in Dad's shoes a little bit tonight. Facing Dad's old team. This is great.
When I spoke to Todd earlier in the week, he said, hey, blood rules tonight. It's all about NC State and family.
Understood, my man. Understood.
Mike Norvell looking to get to bowl eligibility with a win tonight. He emphasized complementary football. That's what's been missing in Florida State's close losses.
Yeah, they've had it in segments. They haven't had where the defense rewards the offense rewards the defense, and then special teams taking care of both.
NC State won the toss, elected to receive, and we get to see C.J. Bailey right away.
Yeah, 2-time state champion. Came to campus as a skinny 17-year-old, but man, he's added weight to his frame. He himself can pull it down and run the football, make plays with his legs, but boy, can he spin it. Watching video on this young man this week, hey, had me fired up and ready to go out and sling it around again. This kid can flat out play and has a very bright future.
And he's got one of the top running backs in the ACC off his right hip. That's Hollywood Smothers. Bailey to throw on first down. A lot of time, just a little check down for a short gain. And it brings up second down. There's Smothers, his 31st catch. Second leading rusher in the conference. And you go back to Bailey at home this year, 10 touchdowns, 1 pick. On the road, 9 touchdowns, 9 interceptions. And the last time he was on this field, he helped NC State pull off a win against a top 10 Georgia Tech team. Smothers with a big hole, a stiff arm, and room to run all the way into Seminole territory, a gain of 26.
And a nice block up top. I think it's Keenan Jackson out on the edge as Smothers cuts outside. He picks up a block on the outside that gave him about another 5 to 7 yards in which to maneuver. The unselfish stuff, blocking down the field. That's what that's winning football.
Smothers again, 3 plays, 3 touches.
A nice tackle.
But he's taken down by Blake Nicholson for a loss of 7.
They've got 3 linebackers that make plays, and that's the strength of this Florida State defense. They're mature on the second level with Elijah Herring, Nicholson, and then Omar Graham Jr., but they're steady. They've got leaders there and a bunch of depth at those three spots.
One change for NC State up front. Number 64, Rico Jackson, starting at right tackle with Teague Anderson banged up. Keep it on the ground. Broken tackle. And that's Duke Scott. You hear the Duke chants. Smothers didn't play in the Georgia Tech win. Duke Scott balled out 196 yards in the win.
Yeah, and he is a guy that's explosive in his own right. Ran a 10.900 meters when he was in high school. He's got speed, but he will bring it to your doorstep. Not afraid to look up contact and linebackers, those three that I just talked about. They'll have their hands full with these two tonight.
Third down, 12 to go. Bailey chased. And he is dropped. The pursuit by James Williams. And it brings up fourth down. Stephon Thompson also in there.
And Williams, the transfer from Nebraska. And this is one of those where it's a coverage sack. They're in zone, but then all of a sudden you plaster when a guy is coming into your zone and the quarterback has nowhere to go. You just kind of lock on man-to-man. That became essentially a coverage sack.
The veteran punter from Waxhaw, North Carolina, Caden Noonkester, to kick it away. And it's Squirrel White waiting inside the 15. Fair catch called for and made at the 10 after a 44-yard punt. Time for Tommy Castellanos.
Yeah, dual threat quarterback. He's mobile. The guy can extend plays, and then he's just a playmaker. One of the highest percentages when throwing the football down the field. The completion percentage is unbelievable. He can throw the deep ball, but man, he's just fun to watch. We've got one heck of a quarterback battle between these two, C.J. Bailey, and now it's Tommy Castellanos' turn.
Castellanos last week in the win against Virginia Tech, 3 touchdowns, 1 through the air, 2 on the ground. Play action. Wants the deep ball, wants Deuce Robinson. It's incomplete. And it's broken up. This is an NC State defense that has been ravaged by injuries in the secondary. Marshall, though, with the PBU.
Yeah, they try to go to Marshall Island quick. That's what he calls it when he's out on the outside. Marshall Island. It's a heck of a play by Devon Marshall there in coverage, getting back in position to just get a hand in there and break up the football. Look for Florida State to hand this baby off right here. Roydale Williams in the game for Florida State. Now 2nd down and 10. I look for a run to get back on schedule.
Moving the pocket.
Nice.
And a strike for a first down. LaWayne McCoy.
It's a nice job by Gus Malzahn. Everybody in the building, myself included, they can get back on schedule because that's what he talked about this week. And he's got a lot of trust in Tommy Castellanos, who reunited with Gus Malzahn. They were together at UCF. He went to Boston College and then now made his way to Florida State, where Gus is the offensive coordinator.
On the ground, it's Roydale Williams, who's been banged up much of the season, for a gain of 3. And the important part of that entree, Malzahn and Castellanos parted on good terms.
Yeah, they did. And therefore, when they went to find a guy to execute Gus's system here at Florida State, it was easy to identify Tommy Castellanos, the past that they've had, and reuniting those two together has been nice.
It's the #1 offense in the ACC and the #1 rushing offense as Williams sets up a 3rd and short. And that's the first tackle by Caden Fordham. One important note, top rushing offense in the ACC for Florida State, but they're without Sam Singleton, one of their key running backs. It's been Singleton, Usman Kroma, Gavin Sawchuk for the most part. And that's why we're seeing a little bit of Roydale Williams early.
Yeah, but they missed with Singleton as an explosive player with speed. Goes up 10-8 in the 100, 22-4 in the 200 meters. Guy that can hit the home run for you.
Jalen Lucas, who's A bit of a gadget back is in the backfield. They put it in his belly. Lucas with a first down run for Florida State.
Trying to replace some of that speed that they missed with Singleton. Jalen Lucas, hey, he's got elite speed in his own right. A nice job of reading things and a pretty good block by Adrian Medley, the right guard, just washing everything down inside. And here comes Jalen Lucas right behind him to pick up the first down.
And this is what makes Gus Malzahn such an elite play caller. Because the book is, when Lucas is in the game, watch the perimeter. NC State told us so much. What do? They run it up the middle.
Yeah, he's super fast, and they love running him on speed sweeps as well as screens.
Castellanos loads up, takes the deep shot, and it's incomplete. He wanted Danzy, who might be the fastest man in college football.
Yeah, he is the ACC record holder in the 400 meters. I think Florida State could just go out and put together a track team with the football guys, but Medley can run, and it's taken everything for Marshall to stay with him. But he gets there, and just at the last minute, ball hits the ground and comes out. That should have been a catch for Dancy,
who came into the game leading the nation in plays of 50-plus yards with 6, and now a timeout by Castellanos.
Timeout. Florida State. First charge of the half.
2nd and 10, Florida State, when we come back. That time of the year, Champ Week around the corner. Georgia Tech, with a win against Pittsburgh tomorrow, clinches a spot in the ACC Championship. After the timeout, it's 2nd down and 10 for Florida State. Castellanos with time to throw. It's another deep shot. It's McCoy again.
What a throw.
And a first down. And that's what Florida State does. They'll hit you downfield with the deep shots.
What a throw right in the between the corner and the safety. And he's got to drive that ball. Otherwise, Marshall falls back into a play and maybe even an interception. You put too much air on that one, and it's going the other way.
Gavin Sawchuk, the leading rusher, is brought down by Caden Fordham, the ACC's leading tackler.
Castellanos comes out hot. He's dealing from missed throws, but he is challenging this NC State secondary, which may be the weakest part of this defense. The strength is the D-line. They got a ton of depth there, but the secondary is just riddled with injuries.
Castellanos downfield, overthrew it, it's picked off. Put a little too much helium, and Marshall ends up with the INT. So he had a big pass breakup, and now the INT, his first of the season.
Can't mess with Marshall Island. Devon Marshall, he is the self-proclaimed Marshall Island. But Castellanos gonna sail this ball as he gets pressure and too much, and Marshall with the interception setting up NC State.
ESPN College Football Primetime is presented by Ram, official sponsor of the College Football Playoff.
If you're just parachuting in, a Florida State interception has given the ball back to NC State. Tommy Castellanos made some really good throws on that opening drive. The last one ill-advised.
I mean, you could really say that even the incompletions were spot on. They were right. Those throws were right on the money for Tommy Castellanos. There, he got some pressure, tried to step up and make a play, and got bumped. And the ball sails on him right into the hands of Devon Marshall.
Hollywood Smothers gets the call on first down and gets tackled after a short pickup. Darrell Jackson, a big nose tackle, top 10 defensive tackle according to Mel Kiper, 6 and white.
This guy can play. I mean, you talk about just a machine on the defensive line. He can make plays. Good pass rusher, inside pass rusher from that defensive tackle spot too, where he just consistently pushes the pocket right into the quarterback's face.
Well, he has demanded double and at times triple teams this season. Bailey to the air, another check down. There's Smothers. Spin cycle.
Nice.
And he typhoons up to the 34-yard line. Sets up a third down
for both
NC
backs.
State.
Yeah, both backs. Duke Scott as well as Hollywood Smothers. They catch the ball well out of the backfield. And they know what to do when you get them in space. They can make guys miss, especially Smothers. Now, Scott wants to run you over. He's more of the physical type back that's in the game right now.
You saw Tony White, the Florida State defensive coordinator, a moment ago. 7 plays for NC State. Smothers has touched it 5 times. Duke Scott is in the game on third down. Scott gets the call. Got a block. Legs churning in the second effort. Gets him the first down.
That wasn't really a guy getting a tush push. That was Jaden Duke Scott just churning those legs, as you mentioned. Pretty good block inside by Cody Hardy, the tight end. And then it's just, hey, I'm going to carry about 3 Seminoles past this first down marker. Heck of a run there by that young man.
Yeah, he saw the corner, Shamar Arnu, try to wrap him up. And was not having any part of a DB making a tackle. Smothers back in there on first down. They go right back to Smothers. And he jackknifes up to the 44. How about Smothers, Andre? He didn't play against Georgia Tech. Against Miami, 7 carries, -2 yards.
Yeah.
And he's still the ACC's second leading rusher.
Yeah, and just, you know, about 825 yards or so coming in to tonight's ball game. He just gets it done. I like the acceleration. I like, you know, how he can jump cut and get himself to a different area in the hole with just one move.
Blitz coming. There's the check down, and that is Justin Jolie. Leads the team in catches. He's their tight end, H-back, and he picks up a first down for the Pack.
Yeah, he was a high school wide receiver, kind of a tweener. Got to UConn, gained some weight, and then made the transfer to NC State. But he is a guy that has fought a quad injury this year. He's back, and boy, they happy to have him back in the lineup.
He gave America that viral moment with the Greg Jennings touchdown.
Oh, yeah.
Fake toss. Right back to Jolie, upended, and he hangs on. Earl Little got him. It's a first down.
What nice throw by C.J. Bailey. The pitch action kind of forcing the linebackers out wide, and that gave Joseph Jolly a place to go in terms of the zone coverage. He just moved guys with the action of C.J. Bailey, and it just left a big void for Jolly on the back end.
Bailey is 5 for 5. Smothered.
You're talking about Mike Norvell and playing complementary football. That's what NC State's doing right now, capitalizing off the interception of Castellanos.
Wolfpack off the turnover. Now inside the 35-yard line of Florida State. Bailey, quarterback run, got a block. Plunges ahead to the 27. It's going to bring up a 3rd and 3 for NC State.
How many guys with his size do you see doing that? Quarterback runs at 6'7". He is tremendously athletic for that size. Can move, he can run, he's fast. And the arm talent is just superior. He will play on Sundays. There is no doubt about it.
Tony White, the Florida State defensive coordinator, told us that Bailey reminds him of Jaden Daniels when he just got to Arizona State. That's Dante Daniels, and it's broken up. Ashley Barker in coverage, but we do get a flag.
I think it's going to be interference on Florida State. Maybe a hold.
Pass interference, defense number 27.
Either way, it's an automatic first down.
Spotted a foul, automatic first down.
Keep an eye on number 87. You start to drive and just way too early. on the back end for Barker. Well, AB just there a little bit too fast.
Got it.
And we may see more of Dante Daniels tonight. Justin Jolie, who's got a couple of catches on this drive. You mentioned the quad. We were told there's a chance he might be limited, and now NC State took too long to get its subs in, and they've got to burn an early timeout.
Yeah. They wanted to, with Jolie, they wanted to have him take about half the snaps on offense. See what NC State can put together when we come back.
C.J. Bailey leading the ACC in first half touchdown passes this season. Sophomore out of Miami, and when he's good, he's been real good at times. We saw it.
Yes, indeed.
Against Georgia Tech, they were chanting his name on this field before they rushed it in that Georgia Tech game.
Nothing better than having that from your home crowd. Got it my freshman year, and you talk about just puffs your chest up a little bit.
First and 10 off the pump fake. A shot. It's caught for a touchdown. Terrell Anderson.
Got behind Earl Little and that Florida State secondary. And Bailey with a dime. I mean a dime. Good protection up front, but before they can get there, that ball is in the air, anticipating his receiver, Terrell Anderson, come open. And they love him in the red zone with his size at 6'2". That's his 5th touchdown reception of the season.
The PAT by Kanoa Feinset. C.J. Bailey, after struggling last week against Miami, off to a blistering start. 6 for 6, 44 yards, and the touchdown to Anderson.
Talk about a young, talented quarterback introducing himself to the country tonight. 6'7" C.J. Bailey, who is as athletic as anybody smaller than he is, and he can throw it with precision.
You know, keep in mind, when he arrived at NC State in January of 2024, he was 17 years old. He weighed 176 pounds. He told me now he's 214. It was hard. It was frustrating adding that weight. He had to change his eating patterns. He said contact a year ago, he was going down. Now he's breaking tackles and he's faster, but most importantly, he's growing mentally. He told me tonight the key thing would be to get the ball out fast because they are coming after him. He's got to be dialed in pre-snap. We saw it there, Andre.
Yeah, we did. Carr can get back to you after this quick return. He is just a nice stop and go route here. You're going to have the outside receiver just kind of stop, and then he takes the outside release, and Bailey with perfect timing to get him the ball. That stop inside and then puts the ball up with enough air under it. Amazing. He is growing so fast, Anish. He's going from running plays to playing quarterback, and there is a huge difference in that. You're just running plays than what the offensive coordinator calls. Most guys around the country are. When you start to get out of things, check plays, go to the sideline with ideas, now you're playing quarterback.
Yeah, we're starting to see a young man come into his own, and certainly NC State hoping that he's here for a few more years. Jackson Vick delivered the hit that time on McCoy. This might be targeting. That's a defenseless player, that wide receiver.
And McCoy is, I believe, is the receiver that's down.
Personal foul, targeting defense number 22. That plays under further review.
Let's bring in Matt Austin here in just a moment. We're going to go to the ACC Game Day Operations Center first to listen in.
I'm thinking that's just a hard hit.
All right, let's listen into the ACC Game Day Operations Center.
I got it going to the side right here.
Okay, guys, the ruling on the field is a catch, personal foul, targeting.
So you can see him coming in here, Riley. He's lowering his head. I see contact to the shoulder.
So before we do that, let's go through the catch process. So we're going to play this in regular speed when we look at the program. So we're going to see that we see control of the ball, then we see contact, and then the player going to the ground, and then the player strips the ball out. And we'll see that through the program. Would everybody agree that we have a completed catch and we would uphold that part of the rule?
Correct.
Absolutely.
Okay, so now we're going to go into the targeting piece. So now with this one, where he's going to catch the ball, would we all agree that number 7 is defenseless?
Yes.
Okay, so now let's go through here and identify if we see the shoulder is contacting the shoulder based off of the look you're seeing here.
Correct.
I agree with
Left
you,
25,
Remus.
yeah.
Okay, so now, we see shoulder there. I'm trying to look at another angle to see if we see anything else. If we look at our high right end zone. Now they rule targeting, and based off of this look, I see shoulder to shoulder. Are we all in agreement we don't have targeting on this?
No targeting.
So we're going to have a completed catch, and we're going to take off targeting. Is everybody in agreement on that?
Yes.
Oh, okay, perfect. So
okay, great. So it'll be second down
at the 25-yard line.
25-yard. Second
25-yard line.
Second down at the 25-yard line. No targeting. Okay,
Yes.
thanks, guys. Hot clock.
Thanks, guys.
Kind of what we felt like.
After further review, there is no foul for targeting. That's a catch. Second down at the 25-yard line.
Just a hard hit. And LeWayne McCoy was down for a long time. Matt Austin, I want to bring you in here. That was forcible contact, but it was legal forcible contact.
It was. The majority of the contact went from the shoulder pad into his side. Yes, their helmets probably did click a little bit, but that wasn't the majority of the contact. I think it's a great overturn. The only comment I have is I wish they'd have spent a little more time on the catch and maybe got a ground view to look and see if he did fully control that ball. The defender did rip it out at the end. That's the second act, but did he have it in the first place?
Meanwhile, McCoy is walking toward the locker room. He was banged up. Flag down. Did a false start?
False start. Offense. Number 13. 5-yard penalty. Second down.
Randy Pittman, the tight end, and McCoy did take a big hit. Listen, no targeting, but he was shaken up. We watched him walk off the field, and for the majority of that replay review, when the audience was watching the command center, we're watching McCoy, who's down the
hoping
field.
that he does indeed get up in a timely manner, and it took a while. Assessing him in the locker room right now.
Quarterback draw. Chroma with a block for Castellanos. And he's right at the 30. That should be enough for a first down.
Guess who making that play? Caden Fordham on the second level of the defense for North Carolina State. I think if Castellanos cuts to his left, he's got the block that he wanted.
And Chroma almost a half-hearted block attempt. Looks like an RPO. That's complete to about the 40-yard line. Javen Boggs, good-looking freshman wide receiver.
Really like him. They really like him. True freshman. The first true freshman to start an opener since 1992. That tells you how talented Javen Boggs is.
Castellanos takes off. Boy, he is lightning fast. He is across midfield, a gain of 11. He's closing in on 6,000 passing, 2,000 rushing for his career. He's about 170 rushing yards shy of 2,000 for his career entering the night. This is Chroma. He's been seeing more carries of late. Singleton is out today, but he and Chroma have started to take the lion's share of the carries, and it's been less of Gavin Sawchuk the last few weeks.
Yeah, I was talking today to a scout, or actually a general manager in Canada, about Tommy Castellanos, and they think that he can go there and play for as long as he wants in the CFL. I don't know what his aspirations are in terms of the NFL, but he and Diego Pavia at Vanderbilt can play a long time up north.
Randy Pittman, who does everything for Florida State. He's their tight end. He's the Wildcat guy. He's rushed for a touchdown, thrown a touchdown this season, caught one, picks up 14.
Scored 3 different ways against Virginia. Threw a pass for a touchdown, had a rushing touchdown, and then a receiving touchdown. Team's best offensive weapon according to this coaching staff.
So he could do it all in one game.
Yes, indeed.
We've reached the end of the first quarter. Florida State now scoreless in the first quarter in each of the last 5 games, but they're threatening when the second quarter begins.
Back in Raleigh with Florida State head coach Mike Norvell. Coach, specific to your offense, what's the point of emphasis against this NC State defense?
Well, I mean, obviously we had to finish drive, move the ball in the first drive, got down close to the red zone, had the turnover. We put together a good drive here. Just got to continue to take what they're giving us, and you'll be able to keep that balance.
Thank you.
Thank you.
They wanted explosive plays, and we've seen it from Castellanos.
That ball batted down, and Mike Norvell's right. It was near this area of the field last time. Castellanos threw the interception.
Yeah, it was explosive plays, hit the explosive plays. He is pushing it down the field to try to force those against NC State. Stay on schedule. They've been able to do that a little bit, and then more tempo. They are at the line of scrimmage already back in the face of NC State.
A check down to Sawchuk. Stiff arm. Swarmed across the 30. It's an offense that is #1 in the ACC in yards, #1 rushing offense, and the explosives is where they thrive. They lead the ACC in plays of 10 or more, 30 plus, 40 plus, 50 plus.
You guys were having a discussion, you and Coach Norvell, about Castellanos and whether he has one more year. But did we ever get a finalization on that?
So essentially, the school is looking into it. It's not for certain yet, but it is something they are exploring, but no guarantee. Castellanos, there's the ad-lib ability, and it's broken up. So
Guess who? Guess who?
It's Devon Marshall.
Marshall Island is in full effect tonight. This young man is having one heck of a start to this game, and when you have a self-proclaimed island, you better show up and you better play, and that's exactly what Marshall is doing here early in the first half.
And it forces Florida State to kick a 46-yarder for Jake Weinberg, who is 2 for 5 in his career from 40 plus.
Marshall slipped down and still made a play.
Weinberg gets Florida State on the board. Welcome back to ESPN College Football Primetime, presented by Ram Trucks, Carter-Finley Stadium. They honored some NC State baseball luminaries in the break. Carlos Rodon coming off a terrific season with the New York Yankees. Trey Turner, Dan Plesac also in the building tonight. Rodon, when he pitched at NC State, filthy. I had the fastball and then basically a time-bending breaking ball.
Lefty, huh?
Yep.
Hated facing lefties. Ugh.
So did you bat from the left side?
No, I could switch hit, but I didn't do it a lot.
Saturday, SEC on ABC, Missouri at Oklahoma. How does Oklahoma follow up the Alabama win? Because they're now in the projected field. You got Missouri, who's, had some moments this season.
They can present a problem, in other words.
They got a great running back in Ahmad Hardy, and then Texas. Is there a chance for Texas to play itself back into the picture? They still have the game with A&M at the end.
Yeah, but your question I would pose to Texas: don't let Georgia beat you twice against Arkansas. And Arkansas's got enough talent, and they've been hunting some folks the last couple of weeks where they're in games and then they let them get away from it.
And a special talent in Taylor Green. Smothers tries to pinball, stays on his feet, and then gets washed out all the way back at the 21-yard line, a loss of 4.
Just nowhere to go there. And That's one of those where you just take your punishment and get down. Come back and fight again on second down.
Now, when you played for the Lions, you played for a guy who could bounce around, but he would sometimes...
he'd do all that and then break it for 80. He was a special, special player. No more than 5'8" tall. It's amazing.
Great Barry Sanders, Bailey rolling. Jolie's open, makes the catch. He was calling for it, and then he thunders all the way close to midfield. It took 3 Seminoles to usher him out.
I know they want to limit him tonight because of that quad injury, but man, when he's making plays like he's making here early in the game, it's going to be hard for Dave Doran to sit him down. They need playmakers in this offense. They got to get bowl eligible, and Jolie right now is making plays for this offense.
3 catches, 48 yards, the last one for 27. Smothers hit right at the point of attack by Daniel Lyons, redshirt junior from Miami, part of that defensive front.
Got to give it up to this offensive line of NC State as well. Kind of reshuffled with, as you mentioned, Rico Jackson playing for Teague Anderson out at right tackle. Anthony Carter Jr. is back at left guard. So they're providing enough protection right now for C.J. Bailey and the running game.
Smothers again into the landlocked navel of that Florida State defense for 4. And then defensively, you've got a Seminoles team. Now, the one big loss they've had has been Jabril Rawls. He was their top corner, so you've got a true freshman and Shamar Arnu, who's been starting there.
They like to blitz Jabril Rawls a lot, and he's an excellent blitzer off the edge when they brought pressure.
Let's see what D coordinator Tony White dials up here on 3rd and 5. Duke Scott in the game at running back. Bailey steps up. He's hit from the backside and taken down. The ball may have come out as well. Florida State says they have it.
Bailey is getting up kind of gingerly. I'm sure they may have ruled him down. Well, no, they're going to say turnover.
The ruling on the field is a fumble recovered by Florida State. First down.
Definitely.
Maury Williams covered it up.
Yeah, definitely got to take a look at this one because I thought Bailey was down, but let's take a long look here.
Is that ball coming out when the knee goes down? Let's bring in Matt Austin, our rules analyst. Matt, on first glance, what do you see?
It's really hard to tell. It does look like it might. I can't really tell, to be honest with you, from that view. It gets a little blurry, but it looked to me like the ball might have been coming loose. And since that's the ruling on the field, they may have to uphold that.
The field is a fumble recovered by Florida State. That play is under further review.
Yeah, I'm in agreement with you, Matt. It looked as though the arm was being tugged as the knee hit.
Let's check in with the ACC's Game Day Operations Center.
This is probably your best replay.
Guys.
Yep.
Hello.
Hi, Riley.
Riley, what's the ruling on the field?
The ruling on the field is a fumble recovered by Florida State.
All right.
Okay.
You got my screen. Take a look. He's going down. Look, his knees are down right there, and he's still got control of the ball.
I got it. Yep.
Okay, so his knee is down, so we're going to overturn the ruling on the field. And when we do that, we're going to...
Yeah, let's get the ball position.
We're going to have...
On the 49-yard line.
49-yard line.
Yep. Replay ruling, so we're going to... So we're going to have him down at the plus 48.
49 and then
plus 49.
Yep.
All right, let's get the chains and the down. Make sure we're correct.
Make sure they moved the chains already, so we have to make sure that we get it back to where it was.
Right.
So plus 49, so it's going to be 4th and 7 at the plus 49-yard line, #3.
4th and 7.
Yep, #3 is correct.
At the plus. 4th and 7.
All right, okay, make sure a 4th and 7.
4th and 7 at the plus 49-yard line.
You got it.
42.
Okay?
I got it.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks.
48.
After further review, the runner was down before the ball came out. It was a 4th down and 7 at the 49-yard line.
Game of inches, right? Matt, was that clear and obvious to warrant an overturn given what the ruling on the field was?
In my opinion, it all depends on how you define he still has firm control. If you think his arm being pulled away, if he still has control of that ball when the knee hit, then yes, I'm good with it. You know, and that's a subject that's up for debate on when he loses control, when his arms are being pulled away from his body.
And I think generally when there's a question of, did he lose control? I'm not sure. It's close. We always see the replay review default to whatever the ruling on the field was. That's the surprise in this instance. It's 4th down, and NC State avoids the turnover. They'll punt it away. Squirrel White waves for a fair catch and makes it at about the 14-yard line, a 35-yard kick. Florida State ball either way. They've got it with 10:52 to go in the half.
NC State grad student and left guard Anthony Carter Jr. is our Friday night spotlight. The Charlotte native attended First Ward School of the Arts as an elementary student, and it sparked the passion. His grandmother, Barbara Marshall, and mother, Jaquay Townsend, had artistic talent, and his father, Anthony Carter Sr., made sure he had all the supplies and tools he needed to get creative. At first, he was heavily into sketching, then it evolved into realism pieces, and now murals. And he's in the midst of creating an amazing mural for offensive line coach Garrett Tujay right in his garage. And Anthony told me the flow state of art gives him peace and the ability to express himself. It's calming in a world that can be hectic, he went on to say, and the escape speaks to people without saying a word.
Big fella's talented.
He's got some artistic
good
chops.
stuff, deep stuff, man.
NC State has had some well-rounded, culturally rounded offensive linemen over the last few years. Jalen Lucas gets the call. A few years ago, Chandler Zavala, his dad, was one of the celebrity chefs. And so he's got some culinary skills from what I hear.
We're gonna hang out with them a little bit, have a couple of nice meals.
That time of the year, huh?
Yeah.
2nd down and 9. Lucas remains in the game, and he's got the attention of DJ Elliott, NC State's D coordinator. They're worried about Lucas getting on the perimeter with his speed. Castellanos looked him off, now takes off. Got a huge block, and he slides down. How about Gunnar Hansen? The left tackle just erased a defender.
So quick, so fast, and all that green grass in front of him gets a nice block. One of his offensive line mates in front of him.
They keep it on the ground. It's back to Lucas for a gain of about 3. He soars with the stop.
And Coach Malzahn going against tendencies tonight in regards to Jalen Lucas. Usually he is what you described earlier as the edge player, speed, sweep, screens, dangerous in space, but trying to keep NC State off balance and on their heels a little bit, running in between the tackles.
Running back rotation continues. It's Sawchuk. Eluded the first man and turns that into a nice pickup of 5. It's 3rd down and 2.
Really good vision and speed, and he's got enough speed to hit home runs. He ran for over 2,000 yards and 28 touchdowns as a high school senior. It's a lot of production.
He was the #1 running back in his class. He was at Oklahoma a couple of years ago. He was actually their top back at the end of the season. This time it'll take a second effort. This is going to be close. Does Sawchuk get there?
Teasdale, the freshman, coming up from his safety spot to help out and just held on as long as he could. See him there coming into your screen, and when he gets a hold of Sawchuk, and
Still enough for the first down, though. Sarchuk got enough. Changed move and a fresh set of downs for Florida State.
Andre, you mentioned Teasdale, you got Assad Brown. That safety and nickel back room has been so beat up and ravaged by injuries. And then today, Jamel Johnson, one of the starting corners.
And we're a finger snap away from losing Jackson Vick to a targeting penalty.
Timeout, Florida State. Second of the half. Please reset the game clock to 8:01.
Second timeout Florida State has had to use already. Still 8+ minutes to go in this opening half. We look at the college football headlines presented by Edward Jones. Georgia moves up into the top 4. Top 3 remained the same on Tuesday. Georgia Tech can clinch a spot in the ACC championship game if they beat Pitt. And the Lane Kiffin announcement, the decision on his future will come after the Egg Bowl next weekend when Ole Miss takes on Mississippi State.
What's your gut tell you?
I think he stays.
I believe that too.
Roydell Williams charges up ahead for a gain of 5.
A lot of resources have been poured into the football program, and he has built that to where he is it's a year-by-year he's a contender every single year. And now to leave that and go start over, I don't know if he wants to do that.
Roydell Williams, first down run. The landscape of college football too, Andre. Indiana's in the playoff race.
Yep.
SMU was in the playoff last year, as was Indiana. It's not just about the Blue Bloods anymore. We could have Georgia Tech or Virginia this year get in as Castellanos gets to the 40-yard line.
Well, earlier I was talking about Florida State wanting to stay on schedule. One of their keys to the game. They're averaging third on third down, 3 or less. They wanted to be 3rd and 6.
Blitz coming. Incomplete. Deuce Robinson, who leads the ACC in receiving yards, still without a catch today.
They'll figure out how to get the ball in his hands, don't you worry. But here, again, 3rd and 5, exactly where Gus Malzahn wanted to be, 3rd and 6 or less, and the average has been 3rd and 3.
10th play of the drive.
Timeout. North Carolina State. Second charge in the half.
NC State
30-second timeout.
wants a timeout. Florida State has been able to move the ball. They just have not been able to finish drives. The first one resulted in an interception. Last time out again, getting into scoring range.
Field goal,
and now a big 3rd down. This could be 4-down territory too.
Yeah, and I think here, if you're Gus Malzahn and you're talking to Tommy Castellanos, it's, hey, don't reinvent the wheel. If you have someone open off the snap, right, you see it pre-snap, go ahead and take it and pick up the first down. Let's move the chains here. Had an uncovered slot to the wide side of the field, and that's an easy throw for Castellanos.
Castellanos, quarterback run. He doesn't get there. Only a yard, maybe 2. It's 4th down. Now decision time.
And they're not afraid to go for it on 4th down. 58% on the year is Florida State on 4th downs. 4th down conversion. So they are not afraid to roll the dice here.
Lucas goes wide. Castellanos takes off, leapfrogs, and he's got the first down.
One thing about Castellanos is he's fun to watch. I mean, you're going to get a lot of excitement when this young man is in the lineup, and They're just diving, willing himself, using his body to pick up the first down.
Now going quickly. Takes off, has room, angles out of bounds at the 24, a gain of 7.
That's what having a mobile quarterback will do for you. You're perfect everywhere. Everywhere across the board. On the back end, linebackers are locked on. The backs and tight ends, the secondary, holding it down against receivers. And then all of a sudden, Castellanos breaks one off for about 7 yards. It's tough. It's frustrating. It just shows you what he means to this offense.
2 years ago, Jaden Daniels was the only quarterback who had more rush yards than Castellanos. Strong run by Sawchuk to move the chains. A red zone try for Florida State.
That relay I was talking about, might put Castellanos on it. We get maybe the first leg.
Right back to Sawchuk. And bottled up, there is a flag.
Illegal formation on the offense. More than 4 players in the backfield. 5-yard penalty, first down.
And this has kind of been the story of the season for Florida State. If the numbers don't add up, they've been in close games, 4 of their 5 losses by 1 possession. And we asked Mike Norvell why. He said a lack of complementary football in the red zone. 4 touchdowns in the last 11 red zone trips, not finishing drives.
And this year alone, Anise, 3 turnovers in the red zone. So they got to make sure they take care of it when they get down here. And now all of a sudden here comes this just penalty after penalty. Maybe another false start.
False start.
Yep.
Offense, number 76. 5-yard penalty, first down.
Mr. Medley, who left the game, he had an ankle injury that he was nursing last week.
They had a few guys get banged up front in the win against Virginia Tech.
He's another guy that played for Gus Malzahn at UCF.
Yep. First and 20 back from the 27. Boydell Williams leapfrogs over a defender. Got some of it back, picks up 8.
It's a heck of a run. Just to get him back. And now, if you wanted, you could take a shot to the end zone here with 2nd down and short.
This will be the 15th play of the drive.
Excuse me, 2nd and 12.
Castellanos slipped a tackler in the backfield, and he gets to the original line of scrimmage. So 3rd and 10.
Yeah.
Florida State.
He's behind the sticks for Gus Malzahn, not where he wants to be, but you are inside the red zone, and you got a dynamic quarterback. Anything could happen.
Blitz coming. That is caught by Boggs, but he fell to a knee. He's going to be well short. It's 4th down. Kick team on.
Take a field goal here and cut this thing to 1 point. He's able to knock it through.
And Andre, you go back to the 2 penalties, which really set the drive back right after you get into the red zone.
Yeah, that hurts certainly, and then but you know you're able to get points knowing that you're getting a ball to start the 3rd quarter.
A 30-yarder for Weinberg, who hit from 46.
Got to knock this through though. Maybe a play clock.
Delay of game.
Yeah.
Offense. 5-yard penalty. 4th down.
Not sure that was in the cards.
So once they have crossed the 20-yard line, 3 penalties for Florida State.
And put them in this position right here. To have to settle for a field goal. Too much to overcome with all the penalty yardage.
So now a 35-yarder. Weinberg misses. Couldn't quite tuck it in.
He was flirting with the right upright. And it just doesn't get inside of it. Man, that is close.
Wow, that is close.
Whew.
Story of Florida State's season. They have moved the ball with ease for most of the night. They get across midfield. They had this drive stall because of penalties and a missed kick. They had another end in Wolfpack territory on an interception. Smothers, Turbines ahead for a short gain. Darrell Jackson, highly touted D tackle with the stop.
This is kind of a bonus possession for NC State. Go down and get some points right before halftime, knowing that Florida State's going to get it out of the locker room. So they're taking their time, though.
They've got the 2-minute timeout. They've got one timeout. Seem to be in no apparent rush. Keep it on the ground. Smothers sheds 2 and fights forward. It's going to set up a 3rd down and about 2. Hollywood Smothers averages this season almost 5 yards after contact.
Offense number 65.
Oh, wow.
10-yard penalty. Second down.
They get Jacarius Peak, the left tackle.
Big fella. Maybe their most talented, their best offensive lineman. Big fella out in space. And not knowing that that run is coming at him, he feels the defender slipping off. The hands go outside the shoulder pads, and he indeed does hold it.
And if you're Florida State now, defensively, this is an opportunity. If you get a stop, you may have a short field.
Both teams with 1 timeout
The
remaining.
game clock will start on the snap. Game clock operator, let's put 2:10 back up on the game clock. Thank you.
Now, if NC State runs the ball here, Andre, you're Florida State, do you think about using that last timeout, knowing you've got the 2-minute timeout on 3rd down?
Certainly.
Now they run it here. They don't get much. Let's see if Florida State calls a timeout. We'll let it run to the 2-minute timeout.
You saved the timeout.
We've reached the 2-minute timeout.
3rd and 13, NC State. Big chance for this FSU defense.
Kevin Connors in studio. Coming up at the half, we're going to spin the ACC Wheel of Destiny in what's been a wild season for the league. Plus, set the table for Georgia Tech and Pitt tomorrow. And a big one in the Big Ten requires the instruction manual, EJ manual, on what USC must do to ground the Oregon Ducks. An age that's coming up when you join us at the half.
All right, Kevin, thank you. It's 3rd down. Bailey in trouble. Throws it away, incomplete, so 4th down. Oh, they didn't blow the whistle, did they? Now they finally say incomplete pass. That was an incomplete pass.
Definitely it was an incomplete pass.
But what that does, the pass stops the clock. Florida State holds on to that timeout.
Yeah.
An incomplete pass. 4th down.
4th and 13, where they are on the field, I'm expecting Kurt Roper, their offensive coordinator, to run the football with Smothers to force Florida State to take the timeout. They don't. It's an incompleted pass, and now Florida State's going to get a punt return here of some sort, and they keep the timeout to use it at their discretion.
So Noonkester to punt. White waits inside his own 45. Chance for a short field. Good field position here for Florida State, just inside the 50. Here's the Week 13 ACC Network lineup. At noon Eastern, it's Delaware going to Wake Forest, Duke, and North Carolina, and then it's the big game, 128th meeting all time between Cal and Stanford. Fire up the band, keep them in the stands. Well, for Florida State, complimentary football, this is it. This has been the bugaboo.
Yeah.
You missed the field goal. Okay, well, guess what? You forced NC State to punt with a short field. Your offense has a chance You have dominated the stat sheet, but only up 3 points. This is an opportunity.
No doubt about it. Now you got to go down and take care of the defense for getting NC State off the field and giving you an opportunity here with 1:48 left.
Castellanos against a 4-man rush. Almost intercepted. He wanted Deuce Robinson. It was Devon Marshall.
Again.
He's living in Tommy Castellanos' nightmares.
I'm telling you, leave Marshall Island alone. What a break. Comes out of his back pedal and just is able to get himself in front of Deuce Robinson.
Deuce Robinson, the top receiver in the ACC without a catch. That's Pittman.
You get about half of
clock running.
Yep, get about half of it there. Right now, in the back of your mind, if you're Florida State, you're thinking field goal, at least, at the very least.
With the tempo they use and can use, you can get greedy. Castellanos, he gets nowhere. A yard, maybe. It's 4th down.
I start thinking about taking this time out if I'm Dave Doran.
What does Florida State do? Do they go for it?
You're on 4th down. I wouldn't let all that precious time run down.
Looks like they're going to bring on the special teams unit. Although, this is the area of the field where sometimes you get the trickery.
Yep.
First punt of the game for Max Cimento. Fair catch made by Anderson. Florida State does get the ball to begin the 3rd quarter. And now NC State with 1 timeout, 42 seconds. How do you expect Kurt Roper and this offense to play it?
Well, without taking that timeout, I expect NC State to get to the locker room. Yeah, because if you were really trying to go down and score, you take the timeout and save yourself the time, and you try to work yourself down the field by, spiking the ball on first downs after you pick up a first down, rather. But when you just let that much time run off the clock, I don't expect them to really go down and try to pursue this, especially where the ball is in this field position.
It's been a weird and odd first half between these two. Florida State, 132 yards rushing, 200+ yards of offense, yet only 3 points. Bailey will step up, puts his head down. He's got a first down. That'll momentarily stop the clock.
Now they need to have had that second play called in the huddle so that you line up, basically same formation, so you're not waiting on guys to move around and get set.
Underneath, that'll keep the clock running. Keenan Jackson. And now a timeout.
Timeout. North Carolina State.
Yeah, now they've got
timeout.
The breathing room needed to try to put something together, but just not sure 19 seconds can give you enough time to do it.
Yeah, and NC State on the season as a team has attempted only 8 field goals. They've made 5. It's the lowest amount of field goals made and attempted for any team in the ACC. And Kanoa Vincent, their kicker, on the season has not attempted a single kick from beyond 40.
But they feel like his range is somewhere around 45 and in. So they can stretch him out a little bit.
Last year he did hit from 52 against Louisiana Tech. No timeouts, only 19 seconds left. Way off, intended for Anderson, who has the lone touchdown in this opening half.
Didn't take much time at all, did it? 3 quick seconds. Trying to hit the edges and maybe get Anderson a catch and get him out of bounds. Anderson with the lone score in this one. Lone touchdown. A touchdown pass from C.J. Bailey.
Bailey to Joe Lee for a first down at the 30. That momentarily stops the clock. NC State quickly to the line. And the spike, 9 seconds on the clock, no timeouts.
Big catch and run, and I think that's what it's going to take for NC State to have a chance to put points on the board with 9 seconds left.
NC State in the first half, no turnovers. They have not allowed a sack, and they committed just 1 penalty. Bailey throws it away in the direction of Jackson. And 3 seconds remaining, and you just get the chance. NC State's not going to take any kind of a risk here with the lead at home. Florida State does get the ball to begin the third quarter. Two teams that become bowl eligible with 1 more win.
And they can't have a letdown right here on the final play of the first half.
And so they just run it to Smothers. Broken tackle, flag down, and we'll get the penalty. Flag comes in from the back.
I thought maybe a face mask.
Wait till we clear the field first. Holding. Offense number 75. Penalties decline. That is the end of the first half.
So it's baseball night here at Carter-Finley. Carlos Rodon is here. Trey Turner is here. Dan Plesac is here. We've got a baseball score, and we've got a baseball host in the studio. The pride of baseball tonight, Kevin Connors with EJ Manuel.
Very well done, Anish. Hey, this year in the ACC, we should expect nothing less than a tight game. Welcome inside our ESPN College Football Studios. Florida State great EJ Manuel. Kevin Connors here with you. Let's call it a defensive showdown there in Raleigh tonight.
This halftime report is presented by Sky Rizzi.
C.J. Bailey and Terrell Anderson. The lone touchdown in that first half. The Pack in front at the break.
This halftime report is presented by Sky Rizzi.
All right, Florida State's got to get going here in this second half. Not an offensive masterpiece in Raleigh. The second half coming your way.
Welcome back to ESPN College Football Primetime, presented by Ram Trucks. And it's part of the ACC on ESPN. Anish Shroff, Andre Ware, Paul Carcaterra with you from Carter-Finley Stadium. Florida State will receive the second half kickoff. They were able to move the ball in the first half. Just some mistakes, penalties, a missed field goal, a turnover. Jalen Lucas, who waits back deep, is a spark plug. 3 kick return touchdowns in his time at Indiana. And he awaits the kick. Won't get a chance. Anish Shroff, Andre Ware. The first half, in a lot of ways, didn't make a lot of sense. Florida State was able to move the ball. It's the stuff that's gone wrong for Florida State in their road losses.
Yeah, I mean, you turn it, but you're moving the football. You got control of things offensively, and you throw an interception. Or penalties have kind of backed you up a little bit. So it's been tough treading for Florida State on the road all season long, and it's carried over into tonight's first half.
Now that's the game track brought to you by American Express. What does Florida State have to do better in the second half?
Well, it's take care of the football and finish drives. You get down there, you can't, miss field goals or do things that take you out of field goal range or turn the football over.
And they give it to Usman Kroma on first down for a gain of 6. We check in with Paul.
Spoke to Mike Norvell moments ago, and he's confident they'll get things rolling here in the second half offensively. Over 200 yards of offense, but penalties at the wrong down and distances and drop passes, he said, have plagued them. Defensively, it's really important, he said, to get after C.J. Bailey and to wrap up Hollywood Smothers.
They keep it on the ground again. Roydell Williams taken down for a loss. A flag flies in. Sod Brown Jr. coming up with a nice tackle there.
Holding, offense number 13. 10-yard penalty, second down.
So just as Clark talks about the penalties that Mike Norvell told him about, you get a penalty. Those are drive killers right there.
It's hard to overcome a holding penalty. Right on the edge. Feel the back starting to slip outside. Definitely a hold there by Pittman Jr.
No Sam Singleton today. He's part of the running back stable. They want to keep Castellanos in the pocket. He throws it away. DJ Elliott said, listen, if you can watch your rush lanes, keep him in the pocket. Yeah, he's going to make plays with his feet, but he'll turn it over, and we did see that in the first half.
Yeah, I've often been a believer that sometimes the pressure is better than the sack because it forces a quarterback to make a mistake. The sack's the sack, and yeah, it's a momentum changer and all of that, but the pressure forces guys to put the football in harm's way when they continuously get it, and North Carolina's getting enough of it.
On 3rd and long. Castellanos chased. As an open man, it's Williams. He's brought down well shy of the marker. It's 4th down. Good hold by the NC State defense to begin the second half.
Nice stop defensively, and you're so concerned about the double dip at the end of the first half, and Florida State having an opportunity to score and then get the ball in the second half and go back down again. But when you have the type of defensive stand that NC State just put up, you need to worry at all.
Cemento to punt. Terrell Williams waits near the 30. Good kick. And Williams brought down at the 21. Week 12 of the NFL begins with the Sunday NFL Countdown Crew at 10 a.m. Eastern on ESPN and the app. And then Monday night, it's the 49ers hosting the Panthers, 8 Eastern on ESPN. You can watch Peyton and Eli on ESPN2. Bryce Young, guy, coming off a career game, set the franchise record for pass yards in Atlanta last week, and it's going to be Christian McCaffrey's first game against his old team.
Wow. Boy, he was dialing them up last week. 448.
If the Rams beat the Bucs on Sunday night, a Panthers win would put Carolina in first place. Oh, it looked like Bailey had a receiver open. He missed him. It was Anderson, second down. Kark?
When I spoke to Dave Doran at the half, we were talking about the Florida State offense and moving the ball but not scoring. I said, is there any concern there, Coach? He goes, look at the score. 3 points. That's the top offense in the league, and we're playing our butts off. And offensively, he thinks a heavy dose of Hollywood Smothers would benefit them. He said he is playing so tough, so hard, breaking tackles, and he's been the guy.
Well, they come out throwing 2 plays in a row. That's Jackson on the slant. And he picks up about 9. 3rd down and 1. And now it might be time for Smothers or maybe even Duke Scott if he comes in. But yes, Smothers will stay.
Scott's the thumper. Smothers is more of the guy that can make you miss. They're going to leave him in the game. He is indeed their leading rusher coming into tonight.
And Andre, they have brought in Will Wilson, who's got a package. He's their short yardage quarterback. 12 of his 18 rushes have gone for a first down. Looked like he thought about throwing. Now he tries to truck, and he doesn't get there. He lost half a yard. It's 4th down.
He's only thrown 5 passes the whole year, so I'm not sure that
Florida State's going to respect that. And it looked like just something to kind of give a pump fake, and he was going to run the entire time. They do a nice job of kind of shutting that down. He hit the play and Will Wilson.
Oh, look out here. Wilson on 4th down this season is 4 for 4. He gets it, looking for room, and the second effort by Will Wilson. Make it 5 for 5 on 4th down this season for Will Wilson.
They had him bottled up. You just got to finish the play. And then when they don't tackle him, it gave him the second effort. But there he's bottled up, and then all of a sudden that big body starts to churn, and they can't get him stopped.
That's a gutsy call to go for it on 4th down.
Big time guts.
That juncture. Now Smothers ahead for a couple. Hollywood up to 60 yards rushing on 12 carries.
This is usually where you get some crossers. Right in the middle, or right in front of C.J. Bailey.
Right guard, Spike Souls out of the game. Now Bailey looking around. Nobody open. He takes off into the second level across the 40. By the way, Yusef Mugarbil came in at right guard for Souls.
Yeah, he made Edwin Joseph miss, kind of stepped right over him as he's diving to make a tackle. Now faced with another 3rd and short. They're taking their time. They're not, rushing out of the huddle. Get back in the huddle, break it, take your time getting to the line of scrimmage, and the focus is on Will Wilson, who's back in the game.
He's back in. Quarterback run. Wilson machetes into the Florida State secondary and into Seminole territory.
True freshman looks good. Just following his big offensive lineman, Yusef Mugarbil, and he's pulling from that right side, follows him right around, got behind him, and then decided to break off, and he broke off a big run.
C.J. Bailey back in, 2 tight ends. Duke Scott is the running back. They feed it to Scott. Gets lost in a pile for a gain of 2.
Number 4, Duke Scott.
Hit him before, right? 2nd and 8. We're just there. Heck of a job by Will Wilson coming in. They have a package for him, and he has taken full advantage of it to pick up a couple of first downs for NC State.
Out of an empty set. Quick swing.
What a catch.
And a diving catch is made by Teddy Hoffman, freshman from Delray Beach. They want to get him the ball more.
He is good in space and excellent at making defenders miss. And that's just some catch right there. Laying out, body on the line, and true freshman makes a nice play for his quarterback.
And Will Wilson back in. So Wilson has been called upon here a few times. 3rd and short, even a 4th and short. Play clock winding down at 3. And Will Wilson turbos and tornadoes for a gain of 5. Another first down. And NC State getting into some 3rd and shorts.
Yeah, they got Cody Hardy, the tight end. He was down, and he is in an extreme amount of pain.
The Wolfpack all season have dealt with injury after injury. Now it's Hardy who's down. We step aside. First and 10, NC State, Anish Shroff, Andre Ware, Paul Carcaterra. Here at Carter-Finley in Raleigh, North Carolina, 2 teams looking for a win to become bowl eligible. Bailey to throw. He goes underneath. He's got his tight end Dante Daniels.
Wow. Another big guy at 6'6".
You're not going to give him 6'7"?
No. Only room for one. That's a heck of a read by Bailey, and gets it out on time so that Daniels has a chance to turn up the field, and they're going to rule it a first down.
This will be the 12th play of this drive.
A heck of a drive for NC State.
Now it's Smothers, tries the middle, twisted down at the 16. NC State in the red zone, scores a touchdown 78% of the time. That's the best red zone touchdown percentage in the league.
Imagine it is. You get down here and you have that type of production, but you also have a dynamite quarterback who has a few weapons on the field around him.
The Wolfpack this season 4-1 at home. Here's the blitz. Bailey has an open man. It's going to be first and goal. Wesley Grimes.
They say he's the fastest of this receiver group. And I mean, there, it kind of shows a nice job of rolling, nice short roll. But when he turns it up, you see there's the potential to hit home runs.
Wake Forest transfer, 21st catch of the season.
Keep an eye on number 9. Looking for him now. He caught the last touchdown pass.
Bailey keeps, floats for Joe Lee.
Yeah, no doubt. That's pass interference.
All sorts of flags. They get Arnu.
You can call it holding, pass interference, whatever you want to call it, but Shamar Arnu he was beaten. They could not. They were going to try to get the ball to Jolie, and he just grabbed him by the waist. He knew he was beaten. Probably a good thing to commit the penalty there. Otherwise, it's 6 points.
Now that's one where if you don't do it, it's a touchdown.
Defense.
Yeah.
Number 15. Ball was placed at the 2-yard line where the foul occurred. First down.
No harm, no foul. He had to grab him.
And Will Wilson checks back into the game.
We know what's going on here. Quarterback run. We have Darius Johnson in the game.
Wilson is driven down after just a yard. Stephon Thompson embraced him. And a flag at the tail end of the play.
You don't want to give them an extra down. And if you're in NC State, you certainly don't want to go backwards.
Illegal substitution. 12 players participated in the play. Penalty is half the distance to the goal line. First down.
That is the 8th penalty now on Florida State.
Just uncalled for. How can you have too many men on the field at this stage in the game? We're going to count them off here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. He may be more than 12.
Wilson remains in. Wilson pushing.
He just shy.
He's going to be marked at about the half-yard line.
I think it's a good spot because his knee did touch down before he tries to extend it over.
That looked close.
Knees down. Oh, that's really close.
That's really close. They may look at this. They may take a longer look. Every play is reviewable in college football. Or not.
Or not.
They just showed it on the big screen, and now we get the stoppage. So the video boards flashed it.
The play is under further review. The ruling on the field, the runner was short of the goal line.
Big thing to remember, if any part of the football breaks the goal line
or just touches it,
it's a touchdown. Let's listen into the ACC's Game Day Operations Center.
Robert, see if you can get the red hat out to take a TV timeout.
Remus, let's go through this. We're going to look at replay. So, Riley.
Yes, sir.
What's the ruling on the field?
The ruling on the field, he was short of the goal line.
Okay. So right now we're seeing on replay A, Remus, if we bring up replay A, we're going to go see a knee is down, but we're not going to see a look down the line on this view. We're going to be looking for any other views that we have to be able to see a shot, a view down the line to be able to see when the knee hits and whether the ball is crossing. Because based off of this view, we don't have enough to be able to overturn the ruling on the field of short.
TV has no other angles. TV has no other angles.
There's no other angles, so based off of this, the ruling on the field is upheld. Is everybody in agreement?
Yes.
Yes.
Outstanding. Thank you.
Upheld. After further review, the ruling on the field is upheld.
I want to know the guy that doesn't agree. Is there a guy in the room that doesn't agree that never says anything?
What was the movie?
Or do they always agree?
12 Angry Men?
Yeah.
Who's the one?
Who's the one guy that doesn't agree? The boss says, hey, I agree. I mean, does everybody agree? Damn right, everybody's going to agree.
It's going to bring up his second and goal. They're going to get another crack at it. I'm with you, though.
Yeah, I agree, boss.
Wilson tries it again and leaves no doubt.
Bring in the big fella with all the power, and he's able to get himself into the end zone. 5th rushing touchdown this year for Will Wilson.
And he made that drive.
Yes, he did.
He extended it with a couple of pickups on 3rd down, 4th down, and eventually the touchdown. Plays and a 9-minute drive by NC State. Will Wilson punches it in for 6. For 20 years, All-State has celebrated every field goal and extra point made at participating universities by donating to the university's athletic scholarship fund, supporting all student athletes. Thank you to All-State. How about that drive? 15 plays, 79 yards, and excellent drive. You remember the big play in the gamble was the 4th down and short from inside the 35 to extend the drive, and that got things going, and it was Will Wilson.
Essentially 9 minutes of just playtime gone with that drive orchestrated by Bailey, as well as Will Wilson inflicting himself in short yardage situations to keep the chains moving.
Jalen Lucas, a dangerous kick return man, but that time he is stopped well shy of the 20. Wolfpack leading by 11.
We are back in Raleigh in a big spot for this North Carolina State defense and their tackling machine, Caden Fordham. And it's a big spot also because I'm with his dad, Todd, who was a Florida State legend, won a national championship with Bobby Bowden in 1993. What's this moment like for you? Florida State player, North Carolina State dad.
Man, I absolutely love the atmosphere, love the game. I absolutely love Florida State, and I'm so thankful for everything that Florida State and Bobby Bowden did for me and my family. But that's my kid, and so I'm pulling for him hard to do his best and play hard and to win this game tonight.
Your kid is an absolute warrior, and he's a tough guy. He had an ACL injury last year. 9 months later, he's back in fall camp. How would you define his toughness?
You know what? I just love his resiliency and the coming out and playing, and the fact that he's wearing the #1 jersey and being a leader tonight. and just what that means to NC State, and for him to show the toughness, to show the resiliency, to just show what it takes to be a player at this level in this game, is to just keep coming back and fighting and being the best version of yourself every day.
He also has the IQ, and when we spoke earlier this week, you attribute that to a lot of things as a kid, the multiple sports. What was it like for Caden?
Well, you know what I always preach for multiple times is that, look, play as many games as you can, play in different sports, because I think each one of them teaches you something different. And I think that's what some of the young generation's missing today is like, look, you specialize in a sport. No, you specialize in competing in sports, in all kinds of sports. And I think that's what helped Caden. That's what helps all my boys is they competed in the backyard playing football. They competed playing every sport they did. They learned how to compete and be their best.
He was a point guard in basketball. He was a quarterback in football, and he had a great role model and a 9-year NFL vet in Utah. And you've done an amazing job with Caden and your 4 sons and your daughter, all athletes. Congratulations, buddy.
Thank you so much, Paul. Thank you for having me.
Anish?
Yeah, Karg, scary moment right now on the field. Deuce Robinson went down hard. He is able to bounce up, one of the top wide receivers in the country, leading the ACC in receiving yards. One more look.
They're working against Marshall Island. And you talk about having some game. It's good to see Deuce Robinson up, but Marshall is having some type of game. And just going back, putting a bow on Caden Fordham, 13 tackles already. And we still got, a fourth quarter to play. 13 tackles already in a little over 2 quarters.
By the way, one of Caden's brothers just committed recently to Florida State. So this family rivalry is going to get interesting. We'll keep an eye out for Deuce Robinson as Sawchuk gets the call. Robinson came into the game on the heels of 3 straight 100-yard games. 4 targets, no catches today. And this NC State secondary, they're down a corner. Robinson back in, which is a good sign. They have been devastated at nickel, at safety all season. It's a thin secondary. That's been the impressive part tonight. They've held up.
Well, one guy is having, a night to remember. And Devon Robinson.
Devon Marshall.
I'm sorry.
He's been the best player on the field tonight. 3rd and 6. Castellanos finds an alleyway. Doesn't need much room. Found a sliver and moves the chains.
Man, when he attacks the defense, does he attack it or what? With speed and precision. You drop in the zone or you're running with, holding your man down the field in man-to-man coverage, and all of a sudden, all is right except Castellanos is running behind you.
That was Florida State's 80th rush of at least 10 yards this season. Tops in the ACC, top 5 nationally. They get about 4 that time with Sawchuk. Just looking at the clock, Andre.
It's an important drive. I mean, I know there's an entire 4th quarter left to play, but the way NC State's going about its business, it's chewing up possessions at 9 minutes a clip. That doesn't leave you a lot of time in which to execute. So when you have the ball, you got to go down and put it in the end zone.
9-minute possession earlier in this half. Shortened the game. Castellanos hit from the backside. Marshall has blanketed Robinson.
And I mean, I don't know if he's traveling with him at this point, but they're certainly lining.
A luggage tag.
Yeah, Robinson's lining up to his side, and Marshall is right there, step for step, playing with a tremendous amount of confidence. They're trying everything. Double moves, a little stutter and go there. Every move to his side. And you see him switching, going to Deuce Robinson, and we now get our answer. Yep. He is traveling with Robinson.
Castellanos tries it again.
Almost came up with a second. What a break on the football by Marshall. And it really is Marshall Island out there. He's sitting in his back pedal, and he takes a break and commits to it. That left hand is enough to break up the pass. What a play by Devon Marshall.
All right, 4th down. Florida State lining up like they'll go for it. Castellanos, a heave-ho to nobody. Danzy was the closest receiver, but he was over an apex, and it's a turnover on downs. Tonight's dependable player brought to you by Mavis Tire. Devon Marshall has erased the best receiver in the ACC tonight.
But I mean, the interception here, and he slipped down and still able to make a play on Boggs in the end zone. And that last one almost came up with an interception, but this is the last one where he makes a nice break, gets his left hand on the football, and still able to avoid his teammate in the process. What a night for Marshall Island.
Hollywood Smothers.
I want to know if we're getting an invite to Marshall Island, to the party that's going to be thrown tonight.
Well, Marshall Island continues to grow. It's like they're turning into an archipelago.
Yeah, I mean, he's having some special night, that's for sure.
There's Smothers again. It sets up a 3rd and short. And could we see Will Wilson?
If you hadn't heard, you know, Revis used to do that, Revis Island, when he would just lock it down against players in the NFL, Darrell Revis. And I'm thinking that's where Devon Marshall got it from.
Bailey is out. Here comes Wilson.
And everybody in the stadium knows what's coming.
Florida State counters with some big bodies.
Gotta let them substitute because NC State did.
Will Wilson does it again, and that will take us to the 4th quarter. NC State shortened the game in that 3rd quarter. They controlled the clock. They had a touchdown drive of 15 plays and 9 minutes. The Wolfpack, 15 minutes for bowl eligibility.
The college football playoff selection show. The bracket will be filled. Judgment Day is here.
That's the new trend that swept college football this season.
Well, they got a whole section of shirtless guys.
Really puts the incentive on core day, doesn't it?
Yeah, let me see that in about 2 or 3 more weeks when winter sets in.
Well, you can buy the spray paint, right? Can't you spray paint abs on? Hollywood Smothers turned down after a short gain. NC State 4-1 at home. It's been a much better team at home. Part of it is some of the teams that they've played on the road, Miami, Notre Dame.
Yeah.
Now, this is a Wolfpack team. Think of it, Andre. They've beaten Georgia Tech. They beat Virginia. Those two might end up playing in the ACC championship game.
It's a crazy year in the ACC, that's for sure.
Florida State opened with a win against Alabama. Keenan Jackson maneuvering the sideline, got back to the line of scrimmage.
Dangerous pass with a guy kind of sitting right out there with Jackson. He just didn't see the delivery of the football from C.J. Bailey.
3rd and 9 now.
This is uncharted waters. Kurt Roper told us they wanted to stay in 3rd and medium. You're at 3rd and long. That is tougher to execute and pick up. And in this situation, we don't see Will Wilson check in.
And with the crowd chanting C.J. Bailey's name like they did at the end of the Georgia Tech game, NC State uses a timeout.
I bet it's pretty good. I bet it's a lot of fun going to class if you're C.J. Bailey here at the NC State.
You had to milk that in the first half because you weren't on the field in the second half. The game was over by halftime when Andre played.
A lot of fun.
It's 3rd down and 9 for NC State. C.J. Bailey today 14 of 18, not a ton downfield, only 118 yards.
But doing enough to give his team the lead here.
Florida State showing blitz. They just rushed 3. And they get home. Mandrell Desir, the true freshman, who is going to be a star in the ACC.
Mandrell and Darrell both on this team, and he's going to get home. I mean, just keeps working up the field, an elusive quarterback, and he just kind of reaches and able to grab Bailey by his ankle and bring him down way back around midfield, or just beyond midfield.
That's his 6th sack of the season, and a big stop for Florida State.
That's huge.
Squirrel White with the fair catch at the 13. Our college football award show spotlight. We spotlight the Bolitnikoff, and Deuce Robinson came into the game on the heels of 3 straight 100-yard games. He was leading the ACC in receptions. He is without a catch on 6 targets tonight. A lot of that is due to the play of Devon Marshall.
He is on Marshall Island, and it has been all the rules and the regulations have been given by Devon Marshall, and it's a no-catch zone so far for Deuce Robinson. Traveling with him, accepted the challenge, and has just mirrored everywhere Robinson has gone.
Roydell Williams on first down as we check in with Clark.
A lot of Devon Marshall blanketing Deuce Robinson, and then you have Caden Fordham with his 13 tackles on the sideline. This unit is feeling it. You see it in their eyes. You hear the chanting and the hooting and hollering. They're playing with a ton of emotion and holding this Florida State team to 3 points. Mike Norvell, since 2016, his team's averaged 34.9 points per game.
Looking for Robinson. He makes the catch. Marshall right there. First catch of the game for Deuce Robinson, and he's close to a first down.
And it comes with just a simple hitch route. The simple hitch route, and Marshall's still right there, but not before the ball's delivered. The timing of it by Castellanos awards Deuce Robinson his first catch of the ball game.
Robinson now lines up in the slot. Marshall lined up at the very bottom of your screen.
Took into the 4th quarter for Robinson to record his first catch.
Castellanos wants Robinson, and that's broken up, but we get a flag.
Yeah, bodies just bump together, and it's not Marshall. It's Assad Brown Jr. on the back end.
Pass interference. Defense number 26. 15-yard penalty. Automatic first down.
Just keep an eye on this. It's a double move by Robinson. He's going to start down. He's going to go inside, make it look like he's going on the post and then straighten it up. Meanwhile, Castellanos is looking to his right and comes back. And they just kind of bump bodies a little bit, enough to draw the flag.
Not a spot foul in college. 15-yard penalty.
I had my way. That would be a spot foul.
Roma subdued after a gain of 3.
Keep waiting on that change, and it just doesn't happen. We go to the seminar before the season starts, and every year I'm eager to hear, has pass interference become a spot foul? And I'm always disappointed.
What's coming? Castellanos able to complete.
Boggs. Javen Boggs with a reception and a first down. And all of a sudden, there's plenty of time left in this game. 11 minutes. And you go down and score here. We got a fantastic finish for you.
Castellanos standing in the pocket, hits Cloma. He gets knocked back after a gain of 3 by Soers. Now the challenge for Florida State. Now they've been able to move the ball. We saw it in the first half. They struggled to finish drives. Little speed option. Castellanos gave it up. Was that the right call there, Andre?
I thought he pitched it a little bit early. You got to make the defensive player commit a little bit more than that. Make Soares commit, and then you got what you want. If he takes the pitch, man, you know you can turn it up. I may have even faked the pitch to make him go there so I could turn up.
Likely 4-down territory. Marshall follows Robinson, bottom of your screen. Castellanos looking that way. Takes a shot, hits Robinson in stride. That time, Deuce got the best of Devon.
Yes, he did. And it was just those two. Another double move, little slant and go. And they are letting them play, and that time that ball's dropped perfectly in there by Tommy Castellanos. Right over the outside shoulder of Robinson.
Goal to go. And Roydell Williams speared by Kean Sloan. Second and goal.
On the big Utah State transfer. He's a dude. Yeah. Wins against one-on-one pass rushers. You tell me he's their best pass rusher, but he sees so many double teams that he doesn't have quite the numbers, but if you leave him one-on-one, he is hard to handle.
Deuce Robinson is in the slot at the top of your screen. Second and goal. Castellanos takes off and tripped up by Soares at the 9. It's third and goal. Remember, a field goal here makes it a one-possession game.
They're looking for more than just a field goal to kind of start to rattle this cage a little bit and get themselves firmly back in this game.
It's a Florida State team that's winless on the road this season. Their last win away from Tallahassee was the 2023 ACC Championship game in Charlotte against Louisville. Last true road win, November 25th, 2023 at Florida. Castellanos to the end zone. Touchdown.
Guess who?
Deuce Robinson with his redemption song on this drive.
He has owned this possession.
And Florida State appears it will go for 2 to make it a 3-point game.
3 big catches. Got the slant against Marshall, the hitch against Marshall, then the over-the-shoulder catch that he made, and then he switches sides and works against Brian Nelson and is able to get inside position there for the score.
Quarterback draw, always an option with Castellanos,
especially with his front.
Happy feet. They keep him in the pocket. Throws, and he's got a man open. It's Boggs. The conversion is good, and Florida State pulls to within 3.
Touchdown to Deuce Robinson, gets inside position on Brian Nelson, and then the 2-point conversion by Castellanos to Boggs. Just 3 points down. Here comes Florida State.
ESPN College Football Primetime is presented by Ram, official sponsor of the College Football Playoff.
Pretty good list of QBs who've come through these schools. Heisman winners, first-round picks, Super Bowl champions. Jacoby Brissett set the NFL single-game completions record last week against San Francisco. Threw for 457, 47 of 57. NC State with the ball at its own 25. The next stop on the F1 schedule is the 3rd annual Las Vegas Grand Prix. It's tomorrow night under the lights on the Strip, 11 Eastern on ESPN. Pre-race coverage begins at 10.
On the Strip, huh? It'll be a lot of fun there.
Race
sipping around. Yeah.
zipping around in Las Vegas on the Strip. Florida State defensively got the stop the last time.
Yeah, they got to get
able to capitalize.
They got to get Smothers going again. 11 carries for 58 yards in the first half, 5 for just 13 yards in the second half.
The #2 rusher in the ACC, Bailey to throw. Over the middle, it's a long throw. It's brought in.
Nice.
That's Terrell Anderson, who had a touchdown in the first half.
That's next level stuff. You're rolling to your right hard, expecting a quick throw, and then you don't even really pull up to set your feet. You just kind of look back and settle to throw that on the move. That's huge. Ton of athletic ability with C.J. Bailey.
Bailey's 15 out of 19. Make it 16 out of 20. That's right back to Anderson. You get the sense NC State comfortable getting into 3rd down and 2, 3rd and 1. They've got Will Wilson. They had a 9-minute drive.
Everything tells you that they should be running Smothers and Scott, yet they believe and trust in C.J. Bailey enough to open up this drive throwing the football.
Jolie in motion. On the drag route, brought in with one hand.
Nice catch.
That sets up a 3rd down and 2. It's Anderson again.
Yeah, a little drag route underneath and kind of puts it out in front. Stabbed it with the left hand, brought it in, and that puts him in 3rd and short. And I'm surprised we don't see big Will Wilson check himself in the game. And as I say that, here he comes.
They get some extra tight ends, some big bodies. Darius Johnson, one of the bigger backs, comes in there. Wilson tonight, 8 carries, 32 yards, and a touchdown. Looks close.
I think he's going to have it.
They say move the chains.
Yep.
Now it's funny, Gus Malzahn had a few stops, had a guy who could do that. He's now the Florida State offensive coordinator. And Bailey comes back in. Obviously Cam Newton at Auburn.
Yep.
They had the Mac package, remember? The Mac truck at UCF. Duke Scott, who went for 196. This is the upset of Georgia Tech.
This is starting to resemble that drive that was in the 3rd quarter, where they ate up 9 minutes. No hurry, just letting the time tick.
And Andre, you look at the line to gain, it's the 43-yard line. They get into 3rd and short, and they're close. That might be 2 plays for Will Wilson.
Yeah.
Bailey in trouble. Throws deep downfield, and he overshot Hoffman. It brings up 3rd down. Now, he may have had some room to run. He did have a guy to beat on the perimeter. Darryl Desir a little slow to get up.
Right here is Grimes, where he should have gone with the football wide open. He chose to go deep with it, but Wesley Grimes is sitting right there with a nice easy throw for C.J. Bailey. Let that one get away from him a little bit. So his eyes got a little big, thought about hitting a home run, but you take that underneath throw, and it's a 1st down, and the chains have moved.
With the play clock at 1. Bailey is hit and sacked. The ball pops out. Now they blow the whistle. They say he's down. Deontay McCray.
They have big spikes. Sewells is down for NC State, the true freshman.
And right guard.
He pops up. He does pop up.
Now right guard's been a revolving door. 4 different starters there. McCray, the big sack.
Yeah, Sewells landed on his shoulder trying to dive for the fumble recovery. You see him work his kind of skates outside and is able to get home. McCray gets home on C.J. Bailey and forces a punt here.
Florida State with a chance to take the lead with a touchdown. Noonkester catches the punt. It's a short one. It hits a Florida State player on the helmet and rolls backwards. Scramble for the ball. Who's got it?
I think it's going to be the punter that recovered it.
NC State and Noonkester recover the
football. The ball hit Florida State, recovered by NC State. First down.
Well, you see what he did with the football? He goes and hands it to Dave Dorrant. Just kind of tosses it to his head coach.
It hit KJ Kirkland in the helmet. 24, he has no idea.
He's trying all he can because he hears the Peter call from the return man. And that's an indicator to get away from the area, get away from the football, and he can't get there faster than Noonkester, who recovers it. This drive, the ball is going to continue in the hands of NC State here.
And I believe that punt happened with the line of scrimmage about where the ball is spotted right now.
Amazing.
And now if you're Florida State, not only does the defense have to come back on, now you got to start thinking about when to use your timeouts.
Yeah. So that you can try to save yourself a possession.
Smothers snakes to the outside and driven out by Earl Little.
Little just loves the game. You can see it watching video of Florida State's defense. He's a leader on the back end, aggressive and physical player. 63 tackles, came in leading the team with 63 tackles as a rover/safety.
He's been a playmaker. 2 forced fumbles, 4 picks. Bailey. Now they've gotten into 3rd and short, and we might see Wilson.
I didn't think Bailey let the blocks set themselves long enough. He just kind of caught it and went. Usually on that type of play on a quarterback draw, you kind of hesitate or give it a pause. And here comes Will Wilson.
I think they want a face mask.
Yeah, I think they missed one.
Yeah, that's a face mask.
Yeah, no doubt about it.
That's Arnu, the corner. True freshman. They love his future. Play clock winding down, and we get a flag.
False start, offense, number 65. 5-yard penalty, third down.
It's the left tackle peak.
When he goes, Jolie goes.
The
And
game
so
clock
does
will start on the snap of the football.
Dante Daniels, the other tight end. So they could have just about gotten anybody
that's
on
huge.
the offensive line.
That is huge. Again, you got an NC State team that's 4-1 at home. Florida State's road woes have gone on for some time. Winless on the road this season. Their last true road win came in November of 2023. Bailey throws on the run, almost intercepted. Edwin Joseph, the safety, with a leaping attempt. And it's 4th down.
I know where he's trying to go with the ball, but you got that's a crowded area in a tight game. And if it gets through, I'm not sure that it's not intercepted anyway. And Joseph kind of sitting in there, and then he backpedals knowing that Wesley Grimes is taken care of. And boy, so close for Florida State.
That is some resolve, though, shown by Florida State. You get the bad bounce off the punt. NC State gets the ball back. They force another punt. Fair catch called for. White muffs it! Are you kidding me? NC State recovers! A special teams debacle for Florida State.
Unbelievable. Unreal.
Rolling in the field, the ball was muffed by Florida State, recovered by NC State. First down.
Looked as though he couldn't really decide what he wanted to do with his hands. Do you cradle it in or do you go up and catch it? And he got caught right in the middle of both. Goes right off his chest and recovered by NC State.
Again, Mike Norvell's bugaboo was complimentary football on the road. He said they haven't played complimentary football. That was an instance where the defense,
no doubt,
bailed out one special teams miscue, only for special teams to make a mistake again. And now you're on the verge of giving the ball game away. So they've got 3 timeouts. They have to hold NC State to a field goal. Wolfpack, no, a touchdown likely seals it. Smothers on first down, short game, timeout.
Mike Norvell trying to preserve some time
Timeout.
for his offense, and Tommy Castellanos.
First of this half.
You can't make this stuff up, Andre.
Yeah, that's amazing. I mean, amazing.
The wheel of destiny spins in Raleigh. We look at our dynamic play of the game presented by T. Rowe Price.
Yes, the touchdown pass in the corner of the end zone to Terrell Anderson. Just a little slant and go. It got the corner divide inside and gave C.J. Bailey enough room in which to squeeze it in the corner of the end zone to Anderson.
You think of how this game has played out. That touchdown came off of a Florida State turnover. The Seminoles missed a field goal on a drive where they may have had a shot for 6, if not for a couple of penalties.
Yep.
And then the sequence that we just witnessed where NC State punts and hits a Florida State player's helmet. The NC State punter recovers at the original line of scrimmage. NC State punts again. It's muffed, and the Wolfpack take over in the red zone. And that's where we are. 2:16 to go. Both teams with 2 timeouts. We still have the 2-minute timeout.
Yeah, they're looking to put this thing away.
NC State can ice it with a touchdown. And if you're Florida State, you do have a chance at another mulligan. Hold NC State to a field goal. You may even have a timeout left by the time you get the ball. But, you know, first down by NC State, different story.
Gotta have the defense come up big right here.
3 tight ends in the game. They go to Smothers. Leads the ACC in yards after contact. And sets up a 3rd down. Florida State elects not to use a timeout and wait for the 2-minute timeout. 3rd down and 6, NC State. Critical play on the other side.
Hi, I'm Scott Van Pelt, getting set for SportsCenter when this one's done. Notre Dame running back Jeremiah Love joins the program. Some thoughts on the Lane Kiffin situation at Ole Miss, which appears to be coming to a head. Dusty Dvorak stops by to try to make sense of a crowded ACC race. Anish, Andre, back to you. Guess the good news after this play is that NC State won't punt.
That is good news. Scott, though, will put that inside the 5-yard line with the toss. Bailey will throw here on 3rd and 6. Toward the end zone. Incomplete. It's 4th down. He wanted Noah Rogers.
Just couldn't get the right foot down inbounds. Try to touch it in over the top.
Boy, this is awfully
close. Get it down inbounds and yoke a full foot out of bounds.
He hung on, just could not get a foot down. And so now a field goal try. And you know, there's still some drama left in this one. Florida State's defense bailed out at special teams again. They're giving this offense one more chance. And a timeout now.
30-second timeout.
by NC State. If you're just jumping in, this is what you missed. And this just happened not long ago. A punt by NC State. It's a Florida State player in the helmet. Noonkester, the punter, recovers. Wolfpack get the ball back. Ensuing possession, they punt again. Squirrel White muffs it. NC State recovers. What does the Florida State defense do, Andre?
They hold up.
They get a 3 and out. It's 4th down. And now Florida State.
And with all that passing, Anish, Florida State still has 2 timeouts to put a drive together.
Yeah.
No matter what happens here, if the field goal goes through, you know, they're driving essentially to go win the game.
And on that last possession, yeah, it looked like NC State tried to draw Florida State offsides, maybe into a timeout. Now the offense comes back out here on 4th and 6.
Yeah, I'm thinking.
What are you thinking?
I would have on 3rd down. I may have. You asked me, what do you run here? We were in break. I'm just thinking quarterback draw, where you at least force Florida State to take a timeout, even if you don't pick up the 1st down. But you know, now you're throwing to try to pick this up, as well as maybe get it in the end zone.
They're going to go for it. Bailey toward the end zone for Jolie. Touchdown! He hangs on.
Sundays await C.J. Bailey. My goodness, what a talent. The most pressure-packed point in the game. And he just dropped a dime to Justin Jolie. I mean, right on the money. Didn't hesitate, pulled it, and let it rip. And Jolie, with those strong hands, brings it in. Oh, my goodness.
How about the call, 4th and 6, right? Even if you kick a field goal, Florida State still needs a touchdown. Dave Doran said, we're going for the win.
Well, he called the timeout and talked about it. It's like, hey, we're going to get bowl eligible. Let's go get it. We're not going to have to, you know, wait and see what happens if our defense can hold or not.
And it is a 2-possession game.
There's just so much time on the clock. So the timeouts, all of it there is kind of setting itself up to where I could see how during that timeout they talked themselves out of the field goal and going for it on 4th down.
You wonder, part of the thinking too was, if you kick the field goal and you go up 6, you're putting the best big play offense in the ACC back on the field
with timeouts and time.
Florida State,
another
59 plays of 20 plus, 12
crazy.
plays of 50 plus. They have speedsters like Lucas and Danzy, who again could make a house call on one play, and you want to get rid of that risk. However, there's risk in going forward on 4th and 6, but Dave Doran trusting his quarterback. And the bounce back of C.J. Bailey, not a big passing yardage total, but after the struggles against Miami, where he threw 2 picks, season low in passing yards, he's been pretty clean. Yeah, he's been sacked 4 times, 18 of 25, 152, and he and his tight end Jolie hooked up for the biggest play of the game. Pooch kick. It's fielded across the 35-yard line. That's where Florida State will start. And that was because they didn't want to kick it to Jalen Lucas, who has 3 career kick return touchdowns.
Yeah, even the Pooch kick as you're holding your breath if you're a Florida State fan.
Now, special teams today, missed field goal, essentially 2 muff punts. You had a turnover in Wolfpack territory in the first quarter. Florida State's had its chances tonight.
Well, they have. Defense played well in the second half, gave them opportunities, and then special teams let this Florida State team down.
Castellanos on 1st and 10. NC State rushes 3, drops 8. There's Deuce Robinson. Goes over 1,000 yards for the season, and that's a big chunk play right off the bat. It'll momentarily stop the clock. Under 2 minutes. First down stops the clock until the ball is spotted. A 4-man rush. Quick hitter. Pittman gets out of bounds.
And to our point, you know, a big play to Robinson, you know, a nice completion there, and they're already, you know, down inside the 35-yard line of NC State.
Now, I know you've missed a kick, but are you thinking in reverse? If you get out of bounds, set up a manageable field goal, save your 2 timeouts for the ensuing onside kick, and go kick the field goal first. Throw on the run, too high for Boggs.
I don't know. I think you press to try to get the big points first, and then you worry about the field goal after getting the big points, because that's the toughest. So you get those with as much time as you possibly can. Then you come back and try the onside kick and try to get the recovery and a field goal to go along with it.
Castellanos tonight, 15 of 28, 172, a touchdown, a pick. He's run for 76. Here's Robinson lined up with Marshall up top. They hit Robinson on the slant. Marshall knocks it away. NC State picks it up.
There is no whistle. I think it's a catch fumble.
Rolling on the field is the catch fumble. First down.
And that gives NC State the football. Let's take one more look. I'm not sure it's a catch either.
The previous play is under further review.
Let's check in with the ACC's Game Day Operations Center as they look at this. Didn't look like Deuce Robinson had enough time to make a football move.
So 121 will be it.
Okay, guys, the ruling was catch fumble.
You got it. Okay, Raleigh, here we go.
All right.
Coming through. Boom, one step and down. See the ball coming through?
Yeah.
Never had it.
Never had it.
We're going to go there, so we're going to have 4th down.
4th down.
We're going to go back to position number 5.
Previous spot.
And we're going to go to 121 on the clock.
Okay, 121. 121 on the clock. Okay. You got it. So incomplete pass. 4th and 4. Thank you. After further review, it's an incomplete pass. The ball will be brought back to the previous spot. It will be 4th down. Game clock operator, let's put 121 back on the game clock. Thank you.
So 4th down. And Florida State will line up for a field goal to make it a 7-point game. They still have 2 timeouts. It'll be a 51-yarder for Weinberg. His career long is 46, which he equaled earlier tonight. He's also missed a kick. And that's not even close. The 4th quarter has been a complete special teams meltdown for Mike Norvell's Seminoles.
Just sad. Sad if you're Mike Norvell, because this didn't have a chance. And you know, we were talking through that whole scenario. Do you try to get the touchdown, the field goal? I never try to put anything on a kicker. Yeah, I'm going to go take care of it myself as a player. And the last option is to try to, you know, kick a field goal or bring the kicker on. Now, 4th down and the down and distance, you got to go for it. You got to kick the field goal there.
2 missed field goals tonight. 2 muffed punts that resulted in turnovers. Florida State on the verge of losing its 10th straight game away from Tallahassee.
This one's got to go to Smothers.
Yep. NC State will become bowl eligible. Florida State calls a timeout.
30-second timeout, Florida State. That is their 2nd of this half.
You think of a couple of gutsy calls by NC State in this game, Andre. One on their 9-minute touchdown drive in the 3rd quarter.
Yeah.
They go for it on 4th down and about 1.5 yards from inside their own 35. They get it with Will Wilson. And then 4th down and 6 in the red zone. They elect to go for it instead of kicking the field goal and go up 6.
You know what that's called?
CJ Bailey throws a touchdown pass to Joe Lee.
You know what both situations are called?
Play to win the game.
Showing up to win. That's exactly right. Dave Doran came in his home stadium with the idea that we were going to empty the tank tonight and do everything we could to win this football game. And that's throwing the football with a lead late with CJ Bailey.
Smothers gets lost in a palisade of Seminoles. His 20th carry. It's 3rd down.
30-second timeout, Florida State. That is their 3rd and final timeout of this half.
Florida State out of timeouts. You know, really the subplot tonight on the field, Devon Marshall and Deuce Robinson.
Yeah, it's been one heck of a battle. Robinson, Marshall in excellent position. Both guys fighting and scratching, and then it took until the 4th quarter right there for Deuce Robinson to record his first catch of the ball game. A double move and a well-thrown ball by Castellanos. Got him his 2nd one.
5 pass breakups plus an INT for Devon Marshall.
Some night. And then had another one that last possession where he came in and got a hand in and the ball came out. Had to go to replay for that one. What a night for that young man, number 6, Devon Marshall.
And Will Wilson now will take the snap here on 3rd and 5. Hitting the backfield and drags a tackler forward. No timeouts. And NC State will let this thing run down to about 23 seconds. And fittingly, this game could end on a punt.
Hang on. What a game.
How about Florida State? For the 10th time this season, they outgained their opponent. This is a team that's going to 5 and 6. Again, 2 missed field goals, 3 turnovers, 8 penalties. And NC State staring at a 4th straight win.
Untimely penalties
against FSU.
Yeah. Timeout, NC State. 2nd of this half.
I know the game's decided. Are you just telling Florida State, just don't go anywhere near the ball?
Yeah, just get away from it.
Correct. 3rd and final timeout of this half.
NC State about to go to 5 and 1 at home, and they have one more home game of the finale against rival North Carolina. Kester's punt. White makes the fair catch and gets an applause from this crowd who has the visiting sense of humor.
Fans can be wrong sometimes, man. That's just cold-blooded.
And Dave Doran sharing a laugh with his punter, a guy who has started 40-plus straight games, Newt Kester.
He's got to be a lot of fun to play for. As you can tell, he loves his players, and they work hard, but he's had a tremendous run here at NC State.
Castellanos able to complete. That's Boggs. He runs out of bounds. A gain of 33. There's 10 seconds remaining. Sports Center with Scott Van Pelt immediately following our game. Castellanos sends it into the end zone. It's knocked away. The clock showed a second. Now all zeros, and that does it.
Teams do not leave the area. Team, please remain on the sideline. Game clock operator, let's put 1 second, 1 second back on the game clock.
All right, so there is a second back.
Teams remain on your sidelines.
It delays just the inevitable. NC State will go bowling. Florida State will have to win its regular season finale to be eligible for the postseason.
Yeah, they were against the rival Florida.
Yep. NC State will host
North Carolina next week, their rival game.
Last play. Castellanos. Pass is tipped. It's picked off.
Only fitting.
And it's Devon Marshall.
Devon Marshall.
The Wolfpack will go bowling. They got out a home win against Florida State. Some gutsy calls in the second half on 4th down. NC State is your winner. Time for Sports Center with Scott Van Pelt.
Get my tie together. Don't worry about it. How y'all doing? Hi, welcome to Sports Center from the nation's capital. I'm Scott Van Pelt. Plenty more college football to come. Notre Dame's Jeremiah Love joins the show ahead of what could, underline that, could be his final home game in South Bend. Some thoughts on Lane Kiffin and a gigantic decision. A great night of college hoops as well on the way. We'll go right back to some highlights from that game in Raleigh. Nobody after Florida State knocked off Alabama to start the year thought they'd be 5-5. Woofy and Mrs. Woofy in a helmet. They're leading 14-3, and that's when Florida State tries to get back in this thing. Deuce Robinson is a real talented wide receiver, was held in check most of the night. Tommy Castellanos hits him there, and then a few plays later, delivers the strike to Robinson. Florida State goes for 2, and it is a 3-point game. And then the punt game just became chaos. On the punt, it stoinks off the helmet of a Florida State return man all the way back to the punter, Caden Noonkester. An incredibly heads-up play from the punter after it literally hits off the head of the Florida State return guy. But NC State can't do anything with it. C.J. Bailey on 3rd and 6, nearly picked off, so State has to punt the ball right back to Florida State. And it's Squirrel Wright, talented and dangerous return man, waving for the fair catch, but it kind of gets on top of him, hits him in the middle of the chest and the face mask. NC State pounces on it, so back-to-back punts for Florida State, and they can't field either. Now, NC State was lining up to go for a field goal on 4th and 6, and then they realized being up 6 probably doesn't help us, so they go for it on 4th and 6. And Bailey to Justin Jolie, who makes a tremendous catch on 4th and 6. Gutsy. State wants to go bowling. They're going to. They get their 6th victory. You see Jolie makes a great grab of that one, and they win by 10. Another disappointing year in Tallahassee.
Speaking of bowl eligibility, we have to go to last night in Raleigh. NC State, Florida State, both on the verge of bowl eligibility, packed Carter-Finley Stadium. And Florida State's had their fair share of issues here. Special teams, I can assure you, was special last night from the Noles. 4th quarter, Noles down 3.
What was that?
Pack punting, and it goes off the helmet of 24, KJ Kirkland. And it's recovered by the punter, Caden Noonkester for NC State. And that's a turnover. Mike Norvell can't believe it. Few plays later, chance for the Noles to get the ball back. C.J. Bailey's pass nearly
catch the ball.
Edwin Joseph, gotta have it, but the defense.
Great stop.
I'll give them credit.
Big return coming up here. Eddie's number 4.
Let's go. Make a play. Make a play.
Yeah, NC State punts again. Squirrel White back to receive. What happens, Eddie?
My God. There's no
you got to catch it first. That's the hardest part, is catching in football. People don't realize how much pressure is on him.
Again, muffed punt, turnover at a pivotal time. This time, the Pack make them pay. They go for it on 4th and 6 from the 12. This throw, this catch by Justin Jolie for the touchdown extends the lead, ultimately seals it. State wins 21-11. The Wolfpack are now bowl eligible for the 6th straight season, 11th time under head coach Dave Doran. Apparently, the Georgia Tech fans do not like this at all. Those 11 appearances, by the way, ties Pitt for the 3rd most by an ACC school since Doran took over in 2013. Here is Coach after the game.
I just don't quit in anything I do, man. It starts with me. Everyone in this program knows that. When you put our back against the wall, you're going to get our best, man. We're going to fight, and we do that at NC State. And that's part of Jimmy V's legacy here. It's my responsibility to carry it on.
Tremendous job, Coach.
Thank you. Go Pack.